Hello, my name is Rob Garner. I'm a software development instructor, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to use Style Cop to do your documentation comments. And we're going to do this in conjunction with using Copilot to stub out most of our comments. So I'm going to start a new application. I'm going to do this using Visual Studio. And I'm going to create a new project. And I'm going to make a Blazor web app. This will work with any um, project template that you want to use, but I do most of my development in Blazor, so that's what I'll use for this demo. I'm going to call this doc demo. And just pick some defaults or some default startup options. And here we are with a brand new application. Now to use Style Cop, go to Tools, your NuGet Package Manager, browse, and just type Style Cop. And this Style Cop analyzers at the top is the one that I believe is most maintained at this point. You can see it has 200 million downloads versus the other ones. So I'm going to use this one and I'm going to place it in all of my projects. So once that's done, we should have Style Cop enabled. And how you use it is basically like this. I'm going to open up program.cs and you'll start seeing there that you get these additional comments related to your documentation. So here, for example, it's going to tell me the using directives should appear within a namespace declaration. And that's just a style issue. The program will work fine either way. If I click on show potential fixes, I'm going to reorder the statements and it'll reorder it for me. Now, you'll notice that there's another comment here. File header is missing. So I can show potential fixes. And if I add file header, it'll add a generic file header. Now, you can always just go in each time and update this, but you can actually configure this. So I'm going to delete this one. And instead, I'm going to go here, and there's another option that you see in Show Potential Fixes. It's add a Style Cop settings file to the project. This settings file that shows up here now allows us to do some configuration on how Style Cop behaves for us. So if you want to turn on rules or turn off rules or change the way rules function, you can do that from this configuration file. But note this warning. This file is automatically added to your project but will not take an effect. In fact, we can see that even after I've added that. And let's say I go down here and I'm going to change this to, we'll say, East Mountain Metalworks. Let's say that's the company name. But add a file header, you'll notice it's still showing placeholder company. That's because this Style Cop file is actually nothing's being done with it yet. So how do we make this active? Well, they give us the instructions here. If we go to this documentation page, it'll actually tell us how to enable Style Cop. Now, depending on which version of Visual Studio, it's slightly different. But what we need to do is set the build action property for that file for it to start working. And so if I right click on my file and go to properties, right now, the build action is it just treats it as content. It really doesn't do much with it. But if we look here, we can see we're either looking for additional files or we're looking for .NET Core or looking for C# Analyzer additional files. And we can see here we have C# Analyzer additional files. So I'm going to change it to that. And then I can close out my style cop. And now when I add a file header, you can see that it is using the name I provided in my configuration file. You can also do other things. Let's say I want to put the year here on the copyright. I can go in here and it gives me some options to change different aspects of what I'm putting in here. So I can change copyright text and IntelliSense, or more likely GitHub is give me some options here. But I can modify this now, put the year in if I wanted that, save it, and when I go back here, we'll see that it's going to tell me it doesn't look right now. When I click add file header again, we can see now it updates it. So this is nice because I don't have to remember to put my copyright notice on everything. And if there's anything else you want to put on there, you can add that in to the template. You'll also see that here it's telling me this class is missing a header. Now, if you have Copilot enabled, this really works nicely because the Copilot large language model can be used with this describe with Copilot option. And we'll give it a second, let it do its thing. Or actually, let's go to show potential fixes, fix with Copilot. And it actually did it for not only this one, but also the main method. And it's actually kind of amalgamated the most common comments and kind of figured out what you probably will want here. And, class program, the entry class for the doc demo application, that looks pretty good. The main entry point for the application, that is in fact what name is. And it even gives me the parameter marks for the args command, the command line arguments. So this does a nice job of speeding your documentation. You could write these by hand. You can certainly do things like put a 3 slashes here for XML comments and just start typing. But it's sure nice to get this done. And this works as long as the standard comments work for you. And most of the time they work, but every once in a while you'll need to adjust them. So that's kind of where we want to be for efficiency. Is if it's pretty standard, just give me the standard answer, but give me the ability to modify it if I need to. And then also give me the ability to configure what happens for better automation. So this really does, the combination of Copilot along with StyleCop together really works nicely to get your documentation done quickly and efficiently. Thank you very much.